Welcome back to our little corner. You know, in every family kitchen, onions are a small but mighty ingredient, essential in countless delicious dishes. Yet, there's one headache I'm sure you've experienced too: buying a whole bag of onions, only to find that before you can use them all, they start sprouting, turning soft, or even rotting and leaking liquid. Today, don't scroll past just yet, because in this video, I'm going to reveal 5 incredibly unique ways to store onions, making use of items you might otherwise throw away at home with surprisingly effective results. The first method I want to introduce is extremely simple, yet based on a very interesting scientific principle: moisture absorption. Their biggest enemy is moisture from the surrounding environment. When humidity is high, onions are very susceptible to mold forming on the outside. First, prepare a plastic bag, the kind you usually use for grocery shopping. Next, prepare a small plate or any clean flat surface. Take a sheet of sturdy, highly absorbent paper towel and lay it flat on the plate. Then, use a spoon to scoop a small amount of uncooked white rice about. Raw rice is extremely hygroscopic, meaning it absorbs moisture very well. That's why we'll use rice as a natural, food-safe desiccant. Now, carefully gather the 4 corners of the paper towel, wrapping the rice inside. Do this gently, so the rice doesn't spill out. Then use a small rubber band to tightly secure the neck of the bundle. And just like that, you've made a high-quality handmade moisture absorber. Place the onions you want to store into the plastic bag. Be careful not to overstuff it. Give them a bit of breathing room. Once the onions are inside, add the rice desiccant pouch you just made. Finally, gather the opening of the plastic bag and tie it tightly. That small rice pouch will quietly do its job, absorbing excess moisture inside the bag and keeping the environment around the onions dry. With this method, you can safely store the bag of onions in a cool, well-ventilated place or in the refrigerator, crisper, without worrying about sliminess or green and red mold. The second method transforms an old paper bag into an ideal cellar for onions. Take a clean paper bag and lay it flat on the table. Now we'll need a bit of handiwork. Use a pencil to draw a row of small diamond or square shapes on the bag, each about 2 to 3 centimeters in size. Draw them neatly in a straight line, spaced evenly for a nicer look. After drawing, use scissors to carefully cut along the lines to create small window openings in the bag. You might wonder why we do this. If onions are kept in a completely sealed paper bag, air can't circulate, the temperature inside rises, and the onions become stuffy, causing them to rot faster. These diamond-shaped windows act as ventilation holes, allowing air to flow freely while still protecting the onions from direct light. Once the ventilation holes are cut, open the bag fully. You'll see that it now looks quite professional and airy. Place the onions inside one by one, arranging them gently to avoid bruising the skins. When all the onions are in, fold the top of the bag over 2 or 3 times to close it. To secure the opening, use binder clips to clamp it shut. This paper bag now isn't just functional, it actually looks quite artistic. The paper's light moisture absorption, combined with ventilation holes and a dark interior, helps onions sleep peacefully, staying fresh for an entire month. You can place it in a corner of the kitchen, under a cabinet, or anywhere dry. This next method may surprise you the most, but we'll be repurposing old pantyhose that are torn or no longer used. Of course, make sure to wash them thoroughly and let them dry completely before use. Pantyhose are made of a fine mesh material with excellent elasticity. And most importantly, they're incredibly breathable. Hold the pantyhose and check its elasticity. First, drop one onion into the leg and push it all the way down to the toe. Adjust it so the onion sits neatly and snugly at the bottom. Here comes the most important step. After each onion, tie a tight knot right above it. If the pantyhose are long, you can also twist the fabric several times to create a firm divider. Why do this? The goal is to separate the onions from each other. One reason onions spoil in batches is the chain reaction effect. If one onion goes bad, the liquid seeps into the next and ruins the whole bunch. Tying knots isolates each onion so they don't touch, keeping each one safely in its own home. Continue by adding the second onion, pushing it down against the knot you just made, then tying another knot above it. Repeat this process until you reach the end of the pantyhose. You'll end up with a chain of onions that looks like a giant string of sausages. Pretty fun to look at, right? Once finished, you can hang the onion chain on a wall hook or on a balcony where there's good airflow. Whenever you need an onion, simply cut the pantyhose below the knot of the bottom onion. The remaining onions stay safely hanging above. With this method, onions can last for several months. If you're busy, this zip-top bag method is for you. Prepare sturdy zip-top bags with reliable seals. Place the onions inside one by one. In the refrigerator, low temperatures slow the growth of bacteria and mold. However, refrigerators tend to be quite humid. That's why the zip-top bag acts like armor preventing cold, damp air from directly contacting the onions, while also keeping their pungent smell from spreading to foods like butter, milk, or fruit. After placing the onions inside, press out as much air as possible and seal the bag. A small note: with this method, it's best to use the onions within 2 to 3 weeks. While it's not as legendary in longevity as the pantyhose or paper bag methods, it's the most convenient option for modern life, keeping your kitchen and refrigerator neat and clean. Finally, here's a situation I'm sure everyone has encountered. An onion is too large, and you only need half for a stir fry. What about the other half? If you leave it exposed in the fridge, within just 1 day, the cut surface will dry out, darken, and the strong smell will take over your entire refrigerator. Don't worry, have a great little trick for this. Prepare a food-safe plastic container with a tight-fitting lid. The secret lies in the lining. Take a paper towel, fold it into quarters, or lightly crumple it to fit the container, and place it at the bottom. Next, place the leftover onion into the container. Pay close attention here. The cut side of the onion must face down onto the paper towel. By placing it cut side down, the paper towel absorbs excess moisture from the cut, keeping it dry and preventing sliminess. If you found this tip helpful, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment below the video. See you in the next one.